went to the library yesterday and today. This place is truly overwhelming. Like I said before, in the future, we don't have this kind of written language. So this library is a place where an extraordinary amount of such text is gathered. So just seeing this large collection of books is dizzying. I had learned from given information when I was coming here that there was a place called a library, and I found that there's a library about a 30-minute walk away, so I decided to visit. Upon entering, the place was incredibly quiet, as if the hustle and bustle of the surface were just a lie, and it had an atmosphere that reminded me of an underground space. However, the items placed there were completely different. It was divided into several sections, with areas for children and areas with many adults, and of course, many elderly. The children's area contained many books called picture books, while the adult section was filled with text-only books. I initially went to the adult section, opening and closing various books, but even though I could read the words, it was a bit tiring to just stare at all those words continuously, so I moved to the children's section. The concept of picture books felt peculiar, since there were neither text nor pictures like this in the future. These books seemed entirely impossible there. However, since the pictures in picture books are meant to convey information, thinking of them as images that exist to communicate information in the future makes them not entirely unimaginable. There were various picture books, each seemingly by a different author or illustrator. It feels strange to think that all those books were created by different people. It's hard to believe that so many people exist who produce texts and illustrations. In my world, symbols or text only conveyed the necessary information, so seeing so many things represented through words feels as if I'm discovering a range of expressions within myself. Since being given written information upon arriving here, I feel like my way of thinking has shifted slightly, though I'm not sure how. But since we still had a language that's a conversation-heavy communication with words over there, perhaps I'm just mistaking my feelings. Some of the contents of the picture books were easy to understand, like some of them were things I didn't quite see the point in making into a book, but others didn't make any sense to me at all. In any case, creating and reading picture books feels quite strange. It seems there isn't enough information in them, and the sheer number of things that seem non-essential yet still exist is somewhat bizarre. However, the library is quiet, calming, and quite comfortable like underground, making it a place where I could probably sit for hours. Although I get tired from looking at devices in my room for too long, spending time in a library feels pleasantly different. That said, staring at only the adult section's books did eventually make make me feel tired. Also today, I want to try something called soba. It wasn't bad. It's a long noodle dish similar to ramen or udon, and its flavor was somewhat like udon, but the noodles had a slightly rough texture, were soft, and had a bit of a unique taste. The taste of the broth was, as typical of food in this world, still a bit salty. The broth tasted a bit saltier than udon, or at least that's how it felt. For my preferences, udon is the easiest to eat, followed by soba, then ramen, which is extremely salty and challenging to eat, coming last.